I just finished my dinner, and now it's time for coffee. Real coffee in the real style of Cowboy coffee. Biggest complaint I had making coffee Cowboy style is all the mess of the coffee grounds left in your billy tin that needed water to rinse them out with, and it was a waste of resource of water, and water is quite a valuable commodity to me when I'm out camping. I don't want to be wasting it swilling out coffee leaves. That is where this comes in. It's a microfiber towel, but a wipe out with that, with your coffee leaves, and it's so absorbent it actually dries the coffee grounds, leaves a spotless billy tin, and it saves you swilling it out with water. Now I'm going to try this recipe, which is the way I learned how to do it, which makes quite a smooth blend of coffee, and it's pretty simple. Give it some wind. Oh, go on. That's better. And get some water on there, and I'm going to start bringing this to a boil. Now it's only when the water starts to bubble I'm going to start to add coffee. You can pour it without a little strainer. The leaves sink to the bottom. You're going to have no coffee grounds in your cup. Easy to clean out pot now. Starting to bubble at the bottom now, and now's the time to get your coffee in. I like mine quite strong, so maybe 2 or 3 spoons of coffee for me. Actually, I think that's okay, like that. Oh, that smells absolutely fantastic just as it is, but we're going to bring it now to quite a rolling boil for about 2, maybe 3 minutes. So that gives me time to do some admin and sort out some sugar for myself. Spoon. This isn't required for a Cowboy style coffee. So this is quite a rolling boil, and this is how I leave it for about 2 or 3 minutes. I don't tend to mess with it very much. I'm just getting the leaves off the side of the pan and into the brew. Now, I'm not an expert at making Cowboy coffee. I've only done it about half a dozen times, and there's all sorts of variables, such as how long to leave it on the boil for, and how long you need to steep it for. And steeping is just a case of taking it off your fire, putting the lid on it and letting it sit to cool for a bit. Okay, this has been boiling now for a good 3 minutes or so. Time to take it off, turn the stove off, and place the lid back onto your cook pot. And this is just put to one side to cool down. What you need to do is dig out some cold water from your resource, like that. This cold water. Now, this is something I've seen a Cowboy do, and I know he was a real cowboy because he had a cowboy hat on and went hee-haw. But he poured a bit of cold water into the bottom of his cup, probably the same amount that you would have milk in your coffee. Then he took his cold water, took it over to his billy tin and tipped it in like this. Lid back on, let that sit for a few seconds, clean my cup. This Cowboy just poured it straight in here with no coffee grounds, and it was quite amazing to see. If I'd have known how easy it is to make Cowboy coffee, I'd been doing it like this since day one. Okay, let's see where we're up to. Now, the reason I brought out a little sieve with me is so you can see that no coffee grounds will actually go into it. Now, I'm not going to pour all of it. I want some left in the bottom. Now let's have a look at the sieve. It's pretty minimal. Now you just need to add your sugar and creamer. Okay, so the coffee was left on the stove for about 2, maybe 3 minutes. Certainly didn't time it, but what that allows to happen with the coffee is it boils all the acids in the coffee away, so you don't get that bitter taste that you can have with coffee sometimes, or actually often. I've put about 2 or 3 sugars in this. I've got quite a sweet tooth, and I like coffee creamer in mine. I'm not one for drinking too much black coffee. That's nice. Anyway, like I was saying, I got tired of using my water to clean grounds in my coffee billy tin, and that's why I just didn't make Cowboy style coffee. I probably just didn't know how, but I'll show you how to clean grinds out, or grounds. One thing you don't want to do is use a tea towel or a scouring pad to clean with. I'm just going to throw this away. The microfiber towel dries the leaves, or the grounds rather. Already it's getting really clean, and I've been known not even to scour this out to use afterwards, even if I'm cooking in it. I mean, I only have curries and things like that anyway, so it's not going to make much difference having the curry coffee. You know, it's curry. Here's the magic. The grounds just cannot be found now on this. It's dirty from where the grounds have been, and they haven't absorbed in. This is like a magic cloth. So I use microfiber towels instead of tea towels. Great for washing out your Cowboy billy tin. Take a little walk, and you'll be back with me in a second when we load up the billy tin for a rich brew. So I've got the billy tin on the stove. I'm going to just warm up the water, then introduce the coffee. I'm going to make it to the same kind of standard with the same amount of coffee, sugar, creamer. But this time it'll be hopefully a little fuller flavour. In trouble. There you are. See this pot handle keeps falling over and going into the flame. That is going to leave a scorcher. That was hot. It's done it again, handle falls into the flame. The difference is here, rather than letting it come to a rolling boil, I'm going to turn it right down, back on. I'll tell you what I have got. Got my Bowie. Rest that across, and the handle can't fall in the flame, and take my finger off. So it's a slower simmering kind of boil. Don't want to bring it to a boil. I'm going to take that straight off. As soon as you get the aroma that you want, take it off. Here's where I will need the filter, because I'm going to pour it straight away. Now I do expect there to be grounds this time. I'm not letting it sit or steep. It's just going to get poured straight in. I'm going to use my little magic microfiber towel and pour that. Now what a difference this rich brew makes compared to the Cowboy coffee. Now there's the grounds. Here are the coffee grounds from the strainer. It's a noticeably different way of doing it. And then I'm going to add my milk and sugar. It really does radically change the taste of your coffee, them two methods. This will have the bitterness in the coffee, which will require the sugar, which cancels out the bitterness. It's probably why people have so much sugar in the coffee. You don't need as much sugar, Cowboy style, but making this rich blend, it does have the coffee acid in it. Now to me, that is a more fuller flavour type of taste that you'd get from a percolator as it drips down, or even a stovetop coffee maker. And if you've not seen one of them, I've got a couple of these. I even use one sometimes for hiking. A little pot of water, the leaves sit in the filter on top, and it bubbles through and pours it into a pot at the top. But with that type of coffee, the water is only touching the leaves towards the end of the brew really, and with the Cowboy coffee you want the leaves in the water all the way through the process. That's why we didn't have hardly any grounds to clean out. I much prefer this way, much prefer it. I'll just bring a strainer with me, I would. It's worth trying out both of them systems, find out which you like, but really I'm just going to let my brew cool down there. This is what I wanted to show you, is the magic cloth, the microfiber towel and all this. Now I'm going to tip all that back into my billy tin. I hope you can see that. It is a nightmare of coffee grounds and a bloody leaf. Glad I didn't drink that. Peacock somewhere, it's calling in the background. Here's where the magic cloth comes in. I'm just going to bash this out on the ground to get the worst out. That's the worst out. Now I don't need the extra water to swill that out. I just roll this magic cloth around it and it actually dries the leaves out. Just like that. That's pristine. Absolutely pristine. And that is just because of the microfiber towel rather than the tea towel. And let's look to see if we can find any of them coffee grounds anywhere. And it's soaked them all in and dried them out. And just put that out so you can see it. But I mean, there's absolutely nothing. This is a great tip, you know, if you like camping and now you know how to make Cowboy coffee. I'm impressed with the Cowboy method. No grounds in your brew. I didn't need to sieve for it. It's a good bit of science. The Cowboy I saw teach this method, poured the cold water in. Like I said, use about the same amount you'd have milk in your coffee. And steep it, leave it to sit for 2 minutes. And all them leaves will sink to the bottom. And even as you pour, they're not going to come out. Don't pour it all in, every single last drop of the water. What you want to do is just save some, so when you throw the tin, the leaves go out with it. The microfiber towel, brilliant idea. I don't know why I haven't done all this years ago. Probably because microfiber towels weren't invented back then. But it's a way forward for me. Okay, I'm going to start packing up and I will see you very soon. Okay, that's been real Cowboy coffee, 2 ways, smooth and rich. Thanks for joining me on that, and I hope you get a chance to make yourself a brew. Until next time, take good care of yourself and I'll see you out there.